It's confirmed. This team is different. Coming off a season where they were pushed around and half the team looked like they gave up, the New York Rangers are back. Mike Sullivan has the goal scoring back. The team structure is completely different, and we're going to break down one reason why this team is going to turn heads around the NHL this season. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 72% of you who watch these videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you're watching these videos and you want to continue to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers, go down below, hit that free subscribe button, and you can stay up to date with everything going on with the New York Rangers, because this channel is built for blue shirt fandom, and it's your place to be for all your daily New York Rangers news. But let's jump right into it. So much to get to. Carrick, Panarin's on the board finally. This team, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Rangers fan watching this, because I know there might be some Montreal Canadiens fans watching this, but if you're a Rangers fan watching this, man, this team is built different. They look different than last year. They're playing different, and they have a bit of an attitude, and it was a great comeback win against the Montreal Canadiens. But let's get into some of this. Of course, if you're looking at the impact score chart, Matthew Robertson had a great game too. First NHL goal. We'll get into that. But Artemi Panarin is on the board. The Rangers desperately needed this guy to score and to show up. He looked like he was either battling an injury. We've been talking about it the last little while on the channel. Either battling an injury or he just looked checked out. And last night, he finally arrived. And Mika Zibanejad, man, credit where credit is due. For as much as we were dumping on him through the offseason, and not so much dumping on him, but more so he's got to get back to playing at a certain level if he's going to make that much money on this team. He was driving play through the middle, all of these things. He looked fantastic. JT Miller with another good game, and Adam Fox looks awesome with Vlad Gavrikov by his side as well. But take a look at this. This is the biggest reason why this team, I think, is different this year. They're turning defense into offense. Well, not at home yet. We'll see if they do that at home at some point this season. I hope so. A lot of people are joking about how the Rangers, maybe they've changed their goal song this year. Nobody knows. We're this far into the season. Nobody actually knows. Of course, they're definitely not going to do that. But the Rangers have allowed 1.71 goals per game, the third best mark in the NHL. And the New York Rangers, New York, has allowed, 3 or fewer goals in each of its first 7 games of a season for only the third time since 1974, 1975. So third best in the NHL so far. Pretty significant sample size at this point. We're not 2 games into the season anymore, right? And then, of course, some of the other statistics in the advanced analytics. This team, yes, they can't score at home, and they've had some trouble, especially, against Toronto in previous games, even scoring on the road, but they're taking care of the puck now, and they're doing things the right way. They're trusting the process. They're making the detailed plays, right? The details in their game are showing, I think, at this point. They're hanging around in games, and then your offense, your skill is going to shine through. It's only a matter of time, and it did last night against the Montreal Canadiens. In a game that looked like it was going to get out of hand very quickly, Panarin comes through, Zibanejad comes through, the power play comes through. Really good news for the New York Rangers. In this play, Statboy Steven says it here himself, looks like the old Mika Zibanejad. He was driving through the middle. This is not a perimeter play. He drove through the middle. He kicked it off to Panarin, who, because Zibanejad's going straight through the middle to the net, has all this space to take a patent shot, right? Like to take his shot, to get it in his area, to get going. And it opens up so much space for him. So that was a fantastic play. I love to see that last night. And this team is playing, more physical, a little bit on the edge as well, not taking any crap. I love to see that so far this season. I want to touch on Matthew Robertson. We're going to get to the Carrick stuff in a second, because again, nobody's taking none of this nonsense this year. And I love it. And again, mixed in with the fact that they are playing pretty good. At times the structure has, looked tough, I guess I'll put it that way, but nothing's worse than last year. There was no structure, didn't even exist. From Snark Messier, it's been quite the journey for Matthew Robertson. Scores his first NHL goal last night. Congratulations to him. It's been a journey, and we were talking in the offseason how, or leading into the season too, Scott Morrow should probably be on the team ahead of him. The only reason he is on the team right now, there are some injuries, stuff like that. Carson Soucy, right? Let's keep that in mind. But he did make the team, credit where credit's due, as the 7th defenseman. Is he the best defenseman in the world? Not necessarily, but he's looked pretty sturdy so far since coming into the lineup. Scores his first NHL goal. He played 250 plus games in the WHL and the AHL. finally called up last season for 2 games near the end, if people can remember that, and he looked pretty good in those games, especially the one game, and he scores his first NHL goal last night, a howitzer from the point. Love to see that. And the Rangers need some more offense out of their defense that's not Adam Fox as well, right? We need to keep that in mind, or even Braden Schneider, but last year they weren't getting much of that. So I love to see that. You know, if they can continue to do that, just hard shots from the point, low, has a good probability of going in or getting tipped. Good stuff. Love to see that. And congratulations to Matthew Robertson. And also, you know, the vibes are just high right now through the entire New York Rangers team. And why I think this team's a little bit different. Captain JT Miller, you know, gets the goal. He's pointing at Lafreniere. You go first in the line, all of this stuff. Like, it's just a good vibe around the team, I think. And of course, fans are frustrated. All of these things, they haven't scored at home yet. Like, all of those things are true. But for the most part, I think fans, when you're sitting down and you're watching the game, and let me know how you feel about this in the comments right now. If you made it to this point in the video, let me know how you feel about this specifically in the comments. You're watching the game. I think most people are looking at this and going, this team is different. They're playing different. They're playing, you know, with structure, right? And sometimes it can be a little bit boring, but that skill will shine through. And we'll see if it continues that way. And of course, Panarin, great play there. But I wanted to get into this quote from not Artemi Panarin, but Mike Sullivan. And I think he, you know, is making a lot of really great points here. And I think a lot of things that people are just thinking as well. And the way I would describe the win last night is exactly how he does. A real gutsy effort from the guys, going down like that and pulling it out. Great comeback win and not taking any garbage from the Montreal Canadiens. When you go through some of the early adversity that we've gone through here, I said to them after the game, that game could have gone south fast. We go down too early like that, given the circumstances that we've gone through the last week or so. I just give the players a lot of credit. I think you learn about your group when you go through experiences like this. And that's the thing. And he was talking about how they can't, you know, change things just because they're going through adversity, just because, you know, the puck's not bouncing their way, because make no mistake about it, the Rangers have been playing well. They just can't score, right? They haven't been able to put the puck in the back of the net. Don't change anything. Don't get discouraged. Keep going to work. I love the attitude from the team, from the coach, all of that stuff. And then this, you know, Sam Carrick is much smaller than Arbor Jackeye. And man, he didn't even hold his own. Like, arguably won the fight. So there was the physicality last night. They're down at this point. They ended up coming back right after this. This is the type of stuff that brings a group together. You don't think the guys in the room were, you know, loving this, absolutely loving this last night, whether in between periods or after they pulled out the win? Absolutely stoked. And then obviously this with Lane Hudson and Jonathan Quick, your goalie, you know, is barking at the other team from the bench. Like, it just gets the guys into the fight. It drags, you know, your teammates into the fight. So if they can continue to do stuff like this, and again, it's not going to happen every night. Last night was pretty eventful. But if you're able to do this, it was looking like, and everyone on Twitter was counting out the Rangers when it was 2-0 last night. They said this game is over. They're done like dinner. They're cooked. And they came back and they won that game. And they showed some fire in their game as well. So this team has been playing different. I absolutely have been enjoying it so far this season because of everything that happened last year. And this last quote from Mike Sullivan on the fight, I think it gives the guys a boost. Sam's a brave guy. We know that. And he's been one of the best pickups I think Chris Drury has made, honestly, since he's become GM. This is a guy that, you know, at a time last season in January, was probably the team's best player. And I know a lot of guys checked out last year. Honestly, one of the team's best players. So I think it gave the guys a huge boost. That was a gutsy effort by Sam, and it was a gutsy effort by the entire New York Rangers team. So let me know how you feel in the comments below. This team is built different, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to make some noise this season, and once they're able to figure out what happens at home, why they can't score, once they figure that out, and the guy who, you know, presses the goal horn button gets to actually do his job, they'll be okay. They'll be okay this season. It should be you know, fun to watch the rest of the way. But if they continue to pull out wins like that and efforts like that, man, this team is going to make the playoffs. They will be just fine in this Eastern Conference. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to everything to do with the New York Rangers this season.